Welcome to Nostalgic Necro, and today in the arena I'm going to be showcasing you my optimized version of Kavaero that I actually believe is better than the version on Untapped, and I want to get your thoughts and opinions on it. But before we jump in, if you've been enjoying the gameplay on this channel, do hit the subscribe button. I do a lot of fine-tuning and tweaking of decks and optimizing of decks on this channel, so if you enjoy that kind of content, you'll get a notification and you'll know as soon as the next one drops. But let's jump into it. So the best way I can think about this deck, or that I like thinking about this deck, is that Kavaero is not really a reanimation deck. It's actually more of a combo deck, and let me explain what I mean by that. In a typical reanimation deck, you have your reanimation spells, you have your reanimation targets, and roughly speaking, they're all okay. Yeah, in certain matchups, you prefer certain reanimation targets, for example, because they do better in certain situations, but largely speaking, you're happy with all of them. Kavaero doesn't really work that way. It's more of a combo deck. You have to find Kavaero, that's step number one, and then it has to be in your hand. And because Kavaero is so unique, it is the only card that synergizes with the Bringer of the Last Gift as if it's cast from hand. And so you need to get Bringer of the Last Gift in the graveyard, and then the other piece of the combo is Terror of the Peaks. You need this in the graveyard, and then you need enough creatures to deal your opponents massive damage so that you whittle their life total hopefully to 0. That's kind of the other piece of the combo. And then it also has another piece of the combo where if you're playing control, they're almost certainly going to have a counter spell, so you have to find Cavern of Souls as well. So when you think about it more in terms of a combo deck, you realize that you have to optimize for the deepest possible dig to get all these pieces where you need them to go. And if you don't do that, you're putting yourself, I believe, at a disadvantage. And so the whole question for me has been, how do I optimize that, and how do I get that as quickly as possible? How do I assemble that whole combo as quickly as possible so I can get the win? So the version on Untapped plays the Town Greeter. This card lets you mill 4 cards. You can only find a land card with it though. That means you cannot use it to find Kavaero. You can use it to find the Cavern of Souls, but Kavaero is not something you can get with a Town Greeter. Kiora is a very interesting card, but it is a draw 2, discard 2. Also, draw 2, discard 2 is not a mill 4, so that's why I'm saying it's not optimal. And Awaken the Honored Dead, this is first of all a little bit slow because on turn 3 you don't get to mill anything, but when you do finally get to mill something, it is 3 cards. So instead of that, I've gone for the maximum mill that I can find to optimize my probability of getting Kavaero and the Cavern of Souls. So what I've done for that is I've gone for the Smuggler Surprise. This lets you mill 4 cards and put 2 creature and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. So it fetches both. The Graveyard's Insight can also fetch both because it lets you find Kavaero or the Cavern of Souls. Cash grabs any permanent, and then the only one that doesn't is the Overlord of the Balemerc. This only lets you fetch Kavaero, but it's really good because it's a creature and we need creatures to power up the Terror of the Peaks. It's also unique in that it is the only card that allows you to fetch any card in your graveyard, not just from the milled card. So it's quite unique that way, and therefore is certainly worth keeping, even though it doesn't fetch you the Cavern of Souls. So that's the idea for that. And then to try and make the deck more consistent, I've just added the 4 Llanowar Elves instead, because the 4 Llanowar Elves lets you ramp and just do things quicker, because this deck has to do the thing as quickly as possible, especially against aggro. So my thinking is, let's just have a ramp spell in there so that we can just try to be that 1 turn quicker and just get ahead of our opponent, get the mill going, find Kavaero, find our pieces, and do the reanimation thing. So that's on that side of things. Now on the other side of things, I've added 4 Ghaltas, and the reason I've done that is because, like I said, you need a very specific sequencing to go right. But let's say you can't get your Bringer of the Last Gift into the graveyard. Sometimes you're just stuck with it in hand or something like that. And it's almost like Ghalta gives you another way to win. Because what you can do is, imagine a scenario where you have a bunch of creatures in the graveyard, but you're stuck with a whole bunch of creatures in your hand as well, like Terror of the Peaks and Bringer of the Last Gift. These are very high power creatures, and you might even have another Ghalta in hand. So let's say you only mill Ghalta because you can't find all your other pieces, then you can Kavaero Ghalta from the graveyard and then just slam these down onto the board. You might have another Ghalta in hand, you might have Bringer of the Last Gift, you might have Terror of the Peaks, and maybe like an Overlord of the Balemerc. And you don't get to do the Bringer thing, but the Terror of the Peaks thing still triggers. So in that case, you would deal like 12 damage from another Ghalta coming down. You know, this would be 6 damage and this would be another 5. You might just be able to win just through slamming it down and doing the whole Terror of the Peaks things with Ghalta. So the idea is that, again, trying to do Bringer and Terror of the Peaks is the main strategy, But if we can't get that going, Ghalta just gives us another way to win through Terror of the Peaks and massive creatures coming down to hit our opponent for massive damage, because the Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to the power. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. Instead of only having one win con, the deck now has 2 win cons. And then the other thing that I've done is I've tried to make the mana base as consistent as possible. So I've cut out things like Starting Town, which have a probability of coming in tapped quite easily, you know, once you get into the more late game. So essentially almost everything now is an untapped land, or at least you can choose for it to be an untapped land. The Multiversal Passage, Cavern of Souls, the Verge, both of them are untapped, and the Watery Grave. The only thing that I've added as a tapped land is the Underground Mortuary. This is very good because first of all, we don't have much to do in the early game, so it's a surveil land, just lets us hopefully find our pieces and maybe even put something that we need into the graveyard. And secondly, it's a swamp and a forest, which means that it gets both of the verges online, and that's very important to get consistency out of the decks. That's the only tap land that I've gone for. Otherwise, I want to be as consistent as possible to get my combo off, ideally on turn 4 if I can. So that's the idea for the deck. Quite a long intro, but I wanted to explain all the different tweaks and changes that I made. And as always, I may be the nostalgic necro, but I'm putting my nostalgia aside because I believe this version is better optimized than the version on Untapped. But will I actually win with it? Will I actually get results with it? Let's find out in the arena today. Okay, man, I've had a tough day in the arena. I've been trying to tune this deck so hard. Every time I think it's good, it just completely bombs out on me. Like, look at this hand. You know? What do you do with this hand? You got nothing. Okay, that's better. We're gonna keep 6 and bin probably you because you're the most expensive. It's a mill 4, 2 creatures. Guess it's okay. Just do this rather. It's a very powerful card. Okay, so we'll get this down on, say, blue, because we don't currently have blue. Although we only need blue for Kavaero, so let's just get this down on green and tap it. Kavaero is the only thing we need blue for, yeah, and we have the Cavern of Souls, so it's okay. Yes, opponent, I did green. It's your turn. Oh, don't do that to me. Okay, well, we luckily have... They should take Dredge's Insight, I think. They do take Dredge's Insight. Okay, so that was actually pretty bad. Now I wish I kept the cash grab, because if they take out the Smuggler's Surprise from my hand, I got nothing. So, luckily they don't. We got another Smuggler's Surprise. I'm gonna have to bring this down on human. I don't think it really matters because I don't really have the Greeter in the deck anymore. What are we up against here? Duress. Well, they can just take the Smuggler Surprise, I guess. And it's the only thing they can take, so it's fine. Yeah, opponent's stuck on land here. No, they're not stuck on land. Okay, let's see what we can hit here. Mill 4. Give me something good, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Surveil land. And a regular land. That's not great. Okay, luckily we hit the cash grab. Start with a surveil here. Llanowar Elves is no longer needed. That's a turn 1 kind of thing. So, nothing really going our way right now. And that's what I mean with this deck. Like, it seems like it's easy. But things just don't go to plan. Okay, we'll take the Dredge's Insight. Keep milling. Nothing goes to plan, man. Okay. This... Like, look at this. We've milled 20 cards. Pretty much found nothing so far. Looking for the... Okay, another bringer. So... Don't need that. This can just enter tapped. Trying to just get one of these Terror of the Peaks into the graveyard can be the hardest thing in the world, I swear. Cash grab here. Okay, we do finally get it into the graveyard. So, I mean, opponent's done nothing the whole game. It kind of makes me feel like they've got some trick to deal with this, but I think I'm just gonna try it anyways. There are tricks to deal with this, like for example the... Okay, we get the win there. I mean, opponent is clearly very reactive there and they were just waiting for us to do. But like there are tricks to deal with it, like for example the Toshiba Tidebinder or, you know, exiling the graveyard in response. It does, I mean, look how long it took us to set up there. Okay, I'm glad to start with the win there, but again, you know, you think that you can just do everything on turn 4. It just doesn't work that way in practice. It's kind of weird. And it goes first. Okay, very aggressive opponent here, I believe. So we need to hit Kavaero and quick. I don't think we have time for another Dredge's Insight. You know, green Llanowar Elves means we're under huge pressure. Okay, that's fine. It could be something that I'm not expecting, like Kona. Some sort of ramp. Pay 2. Dredge's Insight here. Okay, the bringer coming down is good. We take the Overlord. I think we'll take the Overlord here. Next turn we can Elves and Overlord. Okay. I'm gonna cruise this thing. Oof, we're under huge pressure here. Sniper. Okay, we have to find Kavaero very, very quickly. This whole strategy is, can you find Kavaero? If you can't find it, there's Kavaero. Oh man. If they kill this elf, we're so toast. Okay, how much damage can they deal next turn? 5, 6. There's no way they can deal 15. I think it's better to hit the... Because you have a choice here. You either go for the Smuggler Surprise, try to find a land, or you go for the elf and you hope they don't have a way of killing the elf. What is better? I feel like the... I mean, it's green. The green doesn't really... Oof. Green doesn't really have... I'm going to go for the mill 4 plan. I mean, green doesn't really have removal, but... You know, we've done nothing this whole game. They could have like a bushwhack or something. Ouroboroid. Are we just dead here? Can they deal 15 damage because of Ouroboroid? Okay, 5. I might regret not having an elf as a chump blocker. Okay, 5, 10. Oof. 12. Got 3 life, man. It is so rough. It's so rough. Oh, I guess we can also use the Smuggler Surprise to gain life off of the Dredge's Insight. Must remember that. Whenever one or more artifact and or creatures. That could have been a line. Okay, we need the untapped land here. We do hit untapped land. Oh my word. Let me just make sure I take the right one. You. And I do have all the mana I need to cast Kavaero, right? I got blue, blue, green. Just want to make sure here. Okay, Kavaero gets the ringer. And then this is the great thing with the Ghalta, because Ghalta... ooh, okay, we can pick it as a copy. Let's take Ouroboroid. Sure, why not? And then Ghalta comes down and does all this insanity, which is the cool thing with the Ghalta play. You go like this, like this, like this, like this. Because your whole deck is just creatures, so you just bring it all down. And everything goes incredibly insane when that happens. And that's kind of the cool thing with this deck. It's kind of got the 2 ways to win. If you can't do the bringer, you've got a way with a Ghalta. But the one issue with it is that if you don't find that Kavaero, you are toast. And so the whole key is you got to mill very hard for Kavaero. Okay, it feels good to get some wins. I tell you what, I've been really, really struggling with this deck, to be absolutely honest. So I'm glad if it is actually finally a little bit better tuned. I'm certainly very happy. Okay, so we have Surveil Land. Is there any reason not to start with this? No, because we can't play the elves anyways. Yeah, get this right into the graveyard. We want to find Kavaero. Kavaero. Got to dig for that Kavaero. Llanowar Elves. So we're playing another fast deck. So we just do the Overlord play. No point messing around, right? Okay, we find Kavaero. Man, that's so lucky. That's the thing. Some games you just don't find it, and then you just lose, and you've got everything set up, and that's it. No Kavaero. What are you gonna do? But some games it just magically appears into your hand. I tried the Fate Weaver. It's just so slow. In some games it's good, but in some games it's just so slow, and you sit there. You know, you play your Fate Weaver. Okay, we need to be pretty quick here. You. Fortunately, we don't have much to do. Yeah, I don't think the Fate Weaver is the right card. It's just, it looks like the right card, but it just didn't work out for me very well, to be honest. Okay, lost. Unfortunately, we don't have much to do again. What do we do here? We could Kavaero. It's not really that impactful though, is it? Do we just wait? Bring this down on green. And come in tapped. Don't think we need to hit Kavaero right now. We need to get more stuff into the graveyard. We can pull the Kavaero trigger at any point in time. The opponent gets the Yuna. They take Yuna. They play Yuna. So they've kind of forced our hand here. I should have double blocked. Yeah, I should have double blocked because that way we'd have gotten both the elves back. Whoops. Okay, so they get that. They get that. Okay, we actually have another Kavaero. That's pretty good. Okay, well, we have to go for this now. It's been a pretty rough situation here, actually. We will destroy their whole board and get down a creature. They get a 1/1. Build him 6. Build him. Might as well just kill this elf, right? Is there any way we can hardcast this Terror of the Peaks? This deck doesn't play counters. I'm just going to put this down on Dragon. Dragon. Just maybe we can hardcast it just now. Okay, so yeah, like this is a game we just haven't been able to get our mill going. And it's just been tough because of that. We can actually Kavaero. We can Kavaero anything. Ooh, cash grab is nice. Let's play. Start with an attack. Hold on. Do we want to? We need an extra land or anything. What do they have in their graveyard? They got Yuna. To one target enchantment from your graveyard. It's only your graveyard. So that's the only creature they have is Yuna. So we can get back their Yuna. Is there any enchantment in our graveyard? No. Let's start with this. Okay, that's not terrible. Let's take the Cavern of Souls here. This we can just be... Oh, we can actually just call this dragon as well. So we can, again, try cast the Terror of the Peaks maybe at some point. Okay, attack. They get lost the Terror of the Peaks. So, we can take the Yuna. We can take Yuna from their graveyard. Is that worth it? I don't think we need to do that. It's just... yeah, that's good. Let's just mill more stuff. We'll just leave this other map token now. This becomes a 5/5. We can get down another bring into the graveyard. We have a good shot here. We'll be able to cast this, but it's okay. Oh, they're a Kona deck. I did not realize that. They are Kona deck, but they don't have any way of tapping Kona. They do take Kona though. Wouldn't have thought that. Okay, they're probably going to play this as a blocker. We get 2 1/1s out the deal. We can actually hard cast this Terror of the Peaks now, but I think we'll start with the Overlord play. Okay. I don't think we need this in our hand. Okay. Kona. Is Kona a problem? Okay, let's start with another attack here. We'll mill more. We just need to find... Oh, why can I never find it? Decline? You know, it's like we've milled half our library and I just can't find the... Just can't find it. Okay, we'll just put you on you. Ghalta. Just go into the graveyard. Just need another one of these Bringers of the Last Gift. Come on. Okay, they still don't have a way of tapping Kona as far as I can tell, so that's kind of nice. Esper Origins. Man, oh man. Okay, we're gonna win here, but again, milling half, this is what I mean. Like, nothing ever goes to plan. Like, we mill half our library, and we just need to find another... Okay, there it is. Yay! But, okay. So, you see, in this situation, yeah, we could have Kavaero'd the Ghalta, bring up the Last Gift, but then it doesn't get the kill everything ability, so that wouldn't really help. Yeah. But, yeah, weird. Okay, I am somehow on a winning run here, which honestly is quite amazing to me because it doesn't feel right now as if the gameplay is going to plan. Like, look at this. No green. It's a great hand, but we don't have green. Man, I need to maybe cut down the number of blue sources in this deck because yeah, I need to cut... Oof. Okay, we do have green. Keep 6. Oh, but we have nothing. This is a pretty bad keep, actually. Didn't really realize how bad it was. Yeah, I need to actually cut down the number of blue sources now because we only need it for Kavaero. That is something to do. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty lucky. So we'll just Dredge's Insight here. Look for... Surveillance, our best bets. Maybe find something else. Terror of the Peaks, sure. Can't just reanimate Terror of the Peaks and have like something to do. What are the Bale Merc? I think it's worth casting this just to see if we can get a better Kavaero next turn. Oh boy. That's what I mean. It's the mind boggles. The mind boggles because there's so many cards in this deck. Like there's the Ghaltas and the things and where are they? Volt Wave. And it's taking lots of damage here. Okay, just a land. I mean, we're gonna die if we don't do something. I'm just gonna Kavaero and try to get this Terror of the Peaks going. I don't see what else we can do here. If we just sit and do nothing, we're just gonna get burnt. That they don't have removal and we can just like attack them. Forest Charm. Okay. Let's see if we can. Bolt Wave. So this seems to be like a pure burn deck. They're not doing anything else. Oh man. Attack. All this on Dragon. Tell you what, the number of times that I've had to try hardcast this thing is pretty ridiculous. If I could hardcast it, I actually might be able to win. Forest Charm. I have a feeling we're going to be dead this turn. Such weird draws with this deck. I swear, it's so weird. Bolt Wave, and I think the opponent's going to have our number here. I think Helix. Okay. Oh boy. That didn't feel very good. I'm going to have a quick look at the mana base here to see if I can maybe just add more green and black, because we don't need that much blue. Okay, well I've added the Blooming Marsh, which is the land that... It's the fast land, this one? No, where is it? This one. The fast land? Hopefully should make the deck more consistent. I took out the Demir Verge land, I think. Okay, got some Surveil going on here. Hello, opponent. Don't need more land. Do we need more land? We don't have. We need 4 land for this deck, but we're gonna need blue land. I think we just bin that one. For the Dredge's Insight. Okay. Dredge's Insight away here. Okay, definitely taking Cavern of Souls. That is key because this looks like control. And I'm gonna have to try to now find the Kavaero and get stuff into the graveyard. Okay, start with the Surveil here. Multiversal Passage. No longer needed. Overlord of the Bailmerk. One, two, three, four. No Kavaero. The Ghalta down there is pretty good. Pretty good to have Ghalta down there. 20 cards, looking for that Terror of the Peaks and a Kavaero. It's so hard to find the pieces you need. I swear, you'd think it'll be easy. But it's not. It's not easy. It's not easy. It should be easier. I swear it should be easier. My intuition tells me that it should be easier, but it never is. Okay, cash grab. Start with the cash grab. See if we can find land. I don't want to play this in case they do play the demolition field. This is really important against control. Come on, Kavaero. Give me Kavaero. I just can't find it. Okay. Opponent is thinking here. Kavaero, yay! But now we need the Terror of the Peaks down there. That's what I mean, it's just not that easy. So we could play this. And if they have the demolition field, we're going to be really upset about it. I'm not going to play it. I think it's not worth it. Okay. Still in a decent situation here. We're under no real pressure. Next turn. Okay. Yeah, pay 2 life. Go for the Overlord of the Bailmerk. Two, three, four. No Terror of the Peaks, of course. That's what I mean. It's like you think it's easy to assemble the combo when you mill half your library, and then it just doesn't come. It just doesn't come. And you're like, what the hell's going on here? Something is statistically fishy here. I mean, I'll keep it, whatever. We just need to mill and mill and mill. We'll eventually find it. Absolutely ridiculous though. Okay, opponent sacks, draws. Surveils. Obviously they could just have like the perfect answer in hand. You know. But okay, they might just counter it. They do counter it. Okay. It's fine, I think. Which is inside, some more mill. Keep more mill. Eventually you gotta hit the... Eventually you gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. 29 cards deep. Can't find a Terror of the Peaks. 29 cards. Please, someone explain this to me statistically, how this works. So frustrating. Okay, Elspeth, Stormslayer. Does give us an opening because the opponent's tapped out here. Seamrup. I wonder what they'll take here. Yeah, they take the elves. Okay, so again, we have to do Dredge's Insights. Still nothing. Unbelievable, right? We'll just do this now while they're tapped out. So, although they could try, I don't think this is the mill is their plan, otherwise we would have seen it by now. Still nothing. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to explain this. 20 cards left. And we haven't found one Terror of the Peaks. I've milled everything. This deck is so weird. I just cannot get any consistency out of it. It is ridiculous. Oh, there's Terror of the Peaks. And now I've got no way to mill it, but I'm just going to discard it manually from hand. It's one of those situations where if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I mean, I've got to assume that the opponent has the Graveyard Hate here, just sitting in hand. They've been waiting this whole game, just waiting for us to do the thing. They might be thinking about casting it now. Okay, there you go for the draw. Okay, we dropped Terror of the Peaks manually. We have to manually bin it to get it into the graveyard after milling everything but 19 cards of our entire deck. And if the opponent has just got something like a flanker or something like that, we just lose. And that's what I mean. This deck is so weird. So weird. And yet somehow I've been winning with it. I mean, honestly... I mean, let's see if this actually works, but okay, Kavaero. And let's see if the opponent's got the thing in response. So, Bringer. This is just ridiculous. And there's no way I should win this game. And honestly, every control player, in my opinion, should just be playing like one flanker. Because that's all you need, because it takes so long to set it up. And if you just play one flanker, you're probably going to find it while your opponent does the thing. And then you're just going to win. And if you don't have one flanker, if you're a control deck, you're just going to lose, because the opponent's going to take all the time in the world in order to do what the thing is. It might take them 10 turns to mill whatever they need, and then they just eventually do it and they win. Okay, well, let's hope it's control, because I feel like we have a pretty favorable matchup there given how long it takes to assemble this thing. And it goes first. Let's see if we can finally have a quick game here. Okay, mono red, but they don't have something on turn 1. That's kind of nice. Llanowar Elves. They burn it, it's okay. So we need to... Okay, this needle thing is a problem. Let's do this for now, just to preserve life. Go for human. So we're looking to find the... Well, we also need land. But Dredge's Insight gives us life. Let's focus on the inside just to try and gain some life here. Okay, we hit Kavaero. Gotta take it. But that's only part of the puzzle. We need to find the bringer and quick, because mono red is so aggressive and we have no way of gaining life in this deck. It's a huge problem. Okay, now we take damage. Damn. Okay, I think we just go for the cash grab here. Try to hit land. And get something impactful in the graveyard. Okay, we get the Terror of the Peaks, but it's not enough. Multiversal Passage will come down here. Go for black or green. We probably need more green. I think we'll just enter it tapped. I don't think we can really afford to pay life here. Don't think we're going to be able to survive this onslaught. Another slick shot show off. Bolt wave. Yeah. So that's what I'm learning playing this deck. We have such a favorable matchup against the control decks. But against the aggro decks, we're just not fast enough. It's just so hard to assemble the combo. They just go out of hand way too quick. And you just don't have time. You're just one turn, at least one turn too late with everything. Okay. Yeah, very, very tough against the mono-red aggro decks and aggro in general with this build. Okay, taking a loss to mono-red there. Very, very rough. Opponent goes first. Got the mill. The mill is good. But as we know, the mill doesn't usually work as you think it will work or hope it will work. Okay, start with the Surveil. Don't need you because we got blue from the Multiversal Passage, so it's okay, we just bin that. Release the Bailiff. I'd love to get one win against these damn aggro decks. Start with the Dredge's Insight here. Try to gain some life. Find Kavaero. Find the bringer. That's pretty good. It means we have a chance here. Keep his talent. 1/1 counter. Take lots of damage, but it's not too bad. Okay, so what do we do here? We can either go for the Smuggler Surprise. We just go for the Overlord of the Bailmerk. I think mill with the Overlord is good enough. Slightly deeper dig, it's 5 cards instead of just 4. Okay, well next time we can at least wipe out the board. But this game is certainly not over. Lots of bringers here. Opponent knows we have Kavaero. They don't know we have blue though. So they might think that we are stuck on lands. It's just fine. That's also just fine. Put a 1/1 count on target creature. Assume they'll go for the... No, they don't go for the Bailoth. Okay, so got a good shot here. They sack it now to find land. We're here for the blue. Pay 2 life, don't really have a choice. Go for the Kavaero, get the bringer. And at least we have a big board. A very big board. We also mill stuff. Okay, the opponent scoops. Couldn't really do the whole thing, but we did wipe out the entire board, so that's good enough. And that's the thing, to pull that off against aggro, man, you really need to get lucky and just, you know, you got to find the Kavaero, you got to find 4 land, they all have to be the right mana, and then you also need to mill the bringer, and you only have 4 Kavaeros and 4 bringers. It's quite a big ask. Okay, well, I'm going to play one more here. I've kind of lost track of how many games I've played. I've been playing for so long. We go first. Pretty good here. We can start with the Surveil or just get the Elf down. I think the Elf is better. Let's just, you know, ramp and do more stuff more later in the game. I was really happy to get at least 1 win against aggro, and I guess the question is, do you try to tune this deck more towards aggro by adding removal? You know, it's always a trade-off for these things, especially in best of 1. Opponent has an Elf of their own. We have the bringer. Cash grab. Grab the Dredge's Insight. It's more mill. Do this. Terror of the Peaks. Okay. Where's this Kavaero? Just need this Kavaero now. Next time we got lots of shots to hit it. Lots and lots of shots. So, let's start with the Dredge's Insight, I guess. No Kavaero. Take an Elf or land. Let's take land here. Need to pay 2 life for this. Do the cash grab. End of turn. Should be okay here. Opponent doesn't feel too explosive. They could be Kona though, in which case they are just gonna brutalize us right now. Vestige. Is it Kona time? They crew, a big crew. We block. I don't think we block. I think we'll get bigger. Okay, come on, Kavaero. I can feel it. I can feel this Kavaero. I can feel it in the next 4 cards. Come on, give it to me. Give me this Kavaero. Why is it so hard to assemble Kavaero? Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4. No Kavaero. Oh, why is it impossible to get it? Okay, we actually need blue. Now that oh no, we have blue. We have blue. So what do we go for? Just a Surveil land? Okay, well, we're gonna have to do it very soon here. It's gonna have to be this. Okay, there's Kavaero. So the question is, can we survive 1 turn here? End life, why not? Surveil, why not? Okay. Well, if the opponent's got the thing or the Kona or whatever they're doing, we're just dead. Otherwise, we're going to win this game. Let's see if it is Kona. They're going for Dragon. Pretty sure what's up here. Vestige. They attack. Put your library for a land. I mean, we could block here. We don't really... I mean, it doesn't matter. If they have the way to kill us, they're just going to kill us now. Otherwise, we're going to win. I don't think the Elf is going to make the difference here. Okay. Opponent drops the River Regent. That's fine. And just in case they have a counter, we do this on human. And Kavaero. And opponent scoops. Okay, this deck is just so weird. You know, you look at it and you think like, yeah, on turn 4, I'll do the thing very consistently. And it never works that way. It's so hard to assemble everything. And I think the reason is that you only really have one of all the things you need, or 4 of, you know what I mean? Like there aren't many substitutes. You need the Kavaero, you need the Bringer, you need the Terror, and you have to find those very specific pieces. Otherwise, it just doesn't really work. And yeah, you can still get some wins because you can wipe out the board with the Bringer, but to do the actual thing actually requires quite a lot of things to go right for you. Welcome back. I put my nostalgia aside because I was curious to try out this Kavaero deck, especially with the tweaks and changes that I wanted to make. And it's so weird. I mean, I ended up winning quite a lot of games with this deck today, but I feel like I shouldn't. And that's what is kind of driving me nuts here a little bit. So I think roughly speaking, you can break up the gameplay today into 2 components. The one is against sort of slower decks, especially Control, and the other is against Aggro. So against Control, I think I won every single game. And the thing is this, I shouldn't. I think if I was a Control player watching this, the lesson I would take is if you start seeing a lot of Kavaero in the meta, just play something like 1 or 2 flankers or something like that, because that way, while your opponent is assembling everything, you can just dig for your piece, like the flanker. You stock up, you know, use your, what's it called, the star charts thing, find your flanker, and then when they do the thing, just exile their whole graveyard. And if they just had that one piece, they could probably win about 50 to 60% of their games against Kavaero that way, because they just win the race of who finds graveyard hate versus assembling the combo first. So that's what I would tell Control players. I think this deck is very vulnerable to Control, actually, if they just did that. Against Aggro, man, we took a beating. Except for one game, I think I just lost every game to Aggro, and I think that this deck has to be optimized or tuned a little bit to Aggro, and I'm going to discuss how maybe we can do that in a future version or something like that. So let's just go through that. A couple of things before I get into that though. I did end up mid-gameplay cutting out the Verge for the Blooming Marsh. I think that's a very worthy addition, because in this version of the deck, you only need blue mana for Kavaero, and you've got so much of it with the Multiversal Passage, Cavern of Souls, and the Watery Grave. So I think that's a worthy addition to the deck, or worthy change. I also want to say that I did try Fate Weaver. This is a very interesting card. For 1 green mana, you can bring it down, and then you pay 2 mana to find Kavaero. It's just a little bit slow, and I just found that it was a bit too clunky to work, and I just ended up going all into the maximum mill plan after trying it for a while. Now let's get into Aggro. Man, that's a very tough matchup for us, and I realized that against mono red especially we were struggling. So I've got a couple of ideas there. I mean, I'm not completely sold on the Ghalta plan. I think it worked in the one game, but I don't think it's the only strategy. So maybe one idea is maybe you cut Ghalta down to 2 or something like that, and you try add a bit more flexibility. So you could try Arden. Arden allows you to create a lifelink body, so you could theoretically even Arden the Ghalta, get a life-linking Ghalta, attack, gain life. That's kind of your control strategy. And then against the, control decks or the other, thing, you still kind of have the way of doing the backup thing, because when Ghalta comes down, you can still bring down the Bringer of the Last Gift and all your other stuff. So that's one way of trying to deal with that. The other idea I had is more direct. You just cut out the 4 Ghaltas and you put in 4 Absolute Virtues. That way, against Control, unless they have removal, you can just Kavaero the Absolute Virtue, and then against Control, they pretty much can't beat you until they get rid of the Absolute Virtue. But just keep in mind, the Absolute Virtue would come down as a 4/4, not as an 8/8, so it would be vulnerable to the opponent's burn. So that's kind of the trade-off you're making there, but it might still be what you do just to stabilize a couple of turns while they have to figure out how to get rid of this Absolute Virtue, and then you can hopefully by that point get your part assembled. So those are 2 ideas I might experiment with. If you have any ideas or suggestions on how to make this deck better, or if you disagree or agree with the general direction that I've taken the deck completely, do let me know. But that will be the gameplay for today, and I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, stay tuned and consider subscribing, because there's going to be more nostalgic necro coming soon.